Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. You already know, like a motherfucking smack addict, right? And as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, MS-13. Ooh, wait. See how that rhymes? MS-13, man. Marasabas trucha, right? Or is that how they say it? I don't know. I can't call it like an alcoholic, but at the end of the day, man, the MS-13 is very well known. It's been popularized, right? It's been glamorized, and basically, man, it's known out there. You know, in a Menudo style in direct fashion, I'm going to give you a little bit of history to MS-13, tell you kind of what was going on then, what's going on now, and possibly what could happen in the future. Orale, the future, right? So trip out. MS-13, man, it's now known as a global gang. See, in the beginning, it was just a local street gang that started in Los Angeles in the late 70s, early 80s, right? And to be quiet as it's kept, and to be real, it's not what people think it was and why it was derived, okay? MS-13 was actually called Stoners Tres. It meant something different, right? They were stoners. They were really into rock. They were more like a punk rock fucking type group. And they established as that, okay? Now, later on, what happened is when the influx of Salvadorians moved into the barrios of LA, they were being oppressed, okay? People were tripping on them because they were just a little bit different than others, right? Now, that's a very big raza-based area, being Los Angeles, right? LA has always had a lot of raza influx. There's always been a lot of raza, you know what I mean? Mexican borders not too far down the road. And sabes que, bang, bang, you know what it is? The South controls, and they control strongly. But the South Salvadorians in the late 70s, early 80s started to come in thick. They started to come in deep in the North Hollywood area and a lot of different areas within LA. And they started a little clique or a little gang because they identified just like everyone else does, you know, all the Chicanos, with the local street gangs. And they started calling themselves Mara Trece, right? Now, the Trece didn't mean the Trece of the allegiance to the M or to the allegiance to the Sureños, Chaleons. That meant the M, and they were stoners. They were actually like a stoner group, right? Punk rock style. They wore the jean jackets, the punk rock hair. So they were a little bit different. But at the end of the day, man, a gang is a street gang, man. And of course, crime comes with that. So what happened is over time of being oppressed and people were tripping on them, they started to develop a hate for the Mexicanos. They started to develop a hate for the Sureños. They started to develop a hate for everyone around them. Okay? And they took and they derived this gang name from their old area where they were from, which is El Salvador. Okay, nowadays, of course, they're mainly El Salvadorian, but this gang also has a lot of different Latino influence in it. And pretty much, man, even though there's more Latinos than any other group, they do have other people involved in MS-13. Okay, so somewhere around the early 90s was when MS-13 really started to go at it. And the reason why they started to be known and going at it is that they started to use machete. They live by the gun, die by the machete. Different type of individuals, different type of group that come from a different country. Okay, every country is different. In Mexico, chainsaw time, right? Of course, in America, you know, you want to settle the score, AK at your door, no beef, no more. And in that fashion, right, every different country, every different group has their different ways and their different weaponry that they use. But these vatos were well known for using machetes. Machetes, for those of you that don't know, it's no joke. They'll cut you up and leave you in pieces. Now, I told the story about my homeboy Spankio, right? Spanky from Gilas. And I'm going to reiterate that story just a little bit, a tad bit, because it involved MS-13. I've always known this to be a very, very treacherous and dangerous group. For those of you that are sleeping on MS-13, you got the game fucked up. You got your fools mixed up. This ain't no Bretton Woods song. This is the real deal. You know, this ain't no breakup to makeup or no bet you golly by golly wow or whatever that. This ain't none of that. What this is right here is real talk. These motherfuckers are with the business, okay? They'll chop you up. My homeboy Spankio actually got caught up in a murder case out of Gilas, Gilroy, man. And this is a vato I've known for 30 plus years. I did tiempo with him in CYA and Nellis, and then we moved on up north. And he was a good, righteous individual. And of course, the story goes, and I've told it on my channel before, so I don't want to go too detailed into it and just keep fucking repeating myself. But the vato actually found himself out there in El Salvador, wiggling. You know, I didn't know he was El Salvadorian in the beginning. I thought he was always a Chicano, a Mexicano, but that's what I get for fucking thinking, you know? Anyways, he finds himself down there and he gets into some type of fucking funk with them. You know, they let the funk season be the reason. And this vato was actually chopped up, put in duffel bags and left on his mom's porch. Okay, that's how MS-13 gets down. They're a little bit different. They're ruthless and they ain't fucking around. They're about that business. Now, of course, you're going to have a lot of Vatos, Mexicanos don't seem to take to the Salvadorian flavor, man. There's always been some type of animosity there. I don't know what it stems from, and I can't sit here and tell you why, but you're going to have a lot of Vatos in the comments, man, that are going to fucking say this or that and this and whatever. Whatever your beliefs are when it comes to MS-13, one thing I will tell you is you don't want no smoke with those individuals because those individuals are about that action. Okay, they're clapping quick and they're whacking even quicker. That's just how they get down. But they've come to the limelight. They've come to the forefront because what you have is nowadays the administration, I'm talking about the United States administration, declared war on this group because they become what's called a global terror. See, at first what started out as a local street gang became an organization and they moved worldwide. Okay, these Vatos are in 48 states in the United States and they're all over the world. Considered one of the biggest organizations, if not street gangs, ever. You know, of course, you have 18 who are their worst enemies, their rivals, and we're going to get into that. And then you have a lot of other individuals that are their rivals, and they also are clicked up with a lot of people. You know, I don't want to speak on their business a little bit too much because it's none of mine. But at the end of the day, I'm just trying to shine some light onto what's going on with MS-13 because I know you guys hear it in the news all the time. Hey, MS-13, it's all point bulletin. Get them, got them. You know what I mean? We want them, we got them. Nah, chale, stay away. Leave them Vatos to their own. Let them do what they're doing. They're now considered street terrorists by some, you know, and I'll always look at them as what they are. A street gang that ain't to be fucked with and needs to be respected and let them do what they're doing, man. If they come fuck with you, then go fuck with them. But if not, hey, okay, you do yours pushing, I'm going to do mine over here. Okay, now the word MS-13, okay, the whole total, whatever it is. You got to understand that for a long time, these Vatos were not trying to take into the big homies down south. They didn't want to be involved in that. Their 13 meant the letter M for Mara. It was something totally different. Of course, as it always goes, man, you're not going to bite the hand that feeds you. You're not going to fight the feeling. So let's get, don't fight the feeling. Utterly Oakland, too short, right? You're not going to fucking fight the feeling. You're going to get involved in what Vatos down south tell you you're going to get involved in, or you're going to get your motherfucking fingers chewed off. That's just the way it is. And of course, eventually, they became allies with the big homies down south. We're going to leave it at that. No disrespect. And that's what that is. But for a long time, man, it was all point bulletins on MS-13. They were going against the grain. And they started to get deeper and deeper. And what happened was a lot of Vatos got caught up in crime in the Los Angeles area and other states. I know they're deep in Virginia, Maryland, Texas. They're deep everywhere. So I was getting, motherfuckers are deep. A lot of them started to get extradited back to fucking El Salvador, where they established their gang there. The MS-13 started to establish. And of course, their worst enemigas being 18th Street, who was already well established in El Salvador. And the list and the bodies and the wars go on and on forever. We've all seen the documentary about the big old MS there with horns and shit on their head and about the 18, Calle 18. We've seen it. There's a hatred and an unadulterated, just vengeance-filled fucking hate that's in between these two groups. It goes beyond Norteños and Sureños. It goes beyond 18 in Clanton. It goes beyond Florencia and Playboy. It goes beyond all these rivals, right? It's different. There's a fucking pure hatred when it comes to these two group factions. You know, and it's been like that, and I don't know where it stems from, but I know it's going to continue to move forward. If Vatos don't get their shit together and Sasuke, they don't care about that. They're in it to win it. Now, MS-13, a lot of people in the Los Angeles area weren't tripping on them. You got to understand, a lot of these local street gangs, a lot of these gangs, they're all going at it with each other. And they're not all of them. Some of them are allies. Some of them have no pleito. Some of them ain't really tripping off them. But at the end of the day, man, when it was all point bulletin on MS-13, a lot of the Mexicano gangs were like, fuck you, Vatos. You ain't us anyways. And they had derivatives and different names that they disrespected them using. I'm not going to use on this platform because I'm not here to disrespect anyone. I'm just here to enlighten and educate. But at the end of the day, man, these Vatos weren't no punks. They stood their ground. They held their own, evidence to they're still around. Okay? And they spread like wildfire. Now, you would think to yourself, how does an El Salvadorian gang get so deep in the United States? It's easy, Vato. Everybody wanted to play in the reindeer games. Everybody wanted to participate in what MS-13 had, because what MS-13 had was a group that not only believed in gang violence, they believed in preserving their own. They believed in protecting their own from oppression and from getting persecuted and from getting spit on and from getting beat up on. And this is how they derived, and this is how they moved. And there's a lot of people that adhere to that. There's a lot of people that sympathize with that cause. I know myself, being a norteño when I was younger, I sympathized with the fact that there wasn't many of us. I sympathized with the fact that we were out there really getting it, an elite soldado status. I sympathized with the fact that I was a true believer in protecting my people from any of the riffraff that were going to come around and try to fucking put our fire out. So our fire was burning and was forever forward. The strife was real. I was down with it. And bang, bang, beep, beep, boop, boop, boop. Menudo. You already know what it was. And I believe that these guys from MS-13 believe the same thing. You know, it's hard to put come on, baby, like my fire. Orale, Johnny. It's hard to put their fire out. Okay? They're not going to go out like that. Just ain't going to happen. But at the end of the day, they're getting well known because the United States has declared war upon them for street terrorism. Okay, now I've read up, I did my proper research, my due diligence. I've looked at many cases. These vatos have done a lot of shit. Okay? But it's always allegedly. Okay, you can never say for a fact these guys did this, because you never want to get anyone incarcerated by word of mouth, man. That's not how it goes down. That's not what's cool. Okay? It's all about being cool. Remember that. Bang, bang. But at the end of the day, they're not a group to sleep on. Okay? I'm going to talk about a case where MS-13, it was a big one. It was a big one, you know. There was a chick, and she was actually part of the gang. You know, she got placarded in. She got jumped into the gang. She felt that for no other reason, she was not getting the love that she needed or the attention at home. So she started to run with the local street gang at this time, which was MS-13. Now, it could have been any gang, but this just was the one that was, pretty predominant in the area that she was from. So she started to run with them. And that's what happens in life. You know, you don't... Yeah, I want to be from that guy right there. What's that, 18? Yeah, I want to be right there. So that's the 1-8. Yeah, that's what I'm fucking with. Nah, it doesn't work that way. Usually you hang out with who you hang out with. You start to get accustomed to their rules, regulations, and adhere to their cause. And that's where you're from. You know, it's all about where you're at, and that's it. You know, if you're right there surrounded by a bunch of bulldogs de Fresno, orale, bow wow. You know what I mean? You're going to start bowing and wowing. That's just how it is. If you're down south in Los, and there's a lot of Southsiders mingling and wiggling, Southgate, the wiggle was real. Puro sur, right? You're down. And of course, if you're up north there, you're going to let your Huelga birds fly, and you're going to get active in your function. And it's going to be all good. So it is where you're at. And this is what happened with this particular chick. She actually started hanging around. She liked the flavor. She liked to go to the parties. You know, she was enjoying the gang life for what it is. And that's what a lot of people get fucked up, man. They think it's all partying and doing a little linea here and a fucking little shot there. And, you know what I mean, every once in a while going out and a little spray paint. And to them, that's what gangbanging 101 is. But in real life, it gets deeper, where you got a motherfucker creep up on a motherfucker and put him in the sleeper. It gets a little bit different. And she started to realize that this group, MS-13, was into a lot of extracurricular activities that she wasn't really wanting to participate in. But bitch, guess what? I said, bitch, it's too late. Once you're in, blood out, right? You're already involved in the ganga. You're already involved in the organization. You're already involved in big MS-13, and you will participate as such. Because that's what you see that right there? No, what is it, gun? It's a fucking machete, and I'll use it, right? This is what they have. So of course, what happened was there was a murder case and a lot of drug cases that were going on around her in that particular area where she was from. And she started to work with law enforcement against this group. Now, this group's tentacles are deep, man. They're enriched in a lot of different stuff. So it didn't take long for them to find out that she was the one speaking on their situation. She was the one talking to the authorities. And of course, instead of just moving on her, they did it more viciously, right? Unbeknownst to them, she was actually pregnant at the time. They lured her out under the guise of partying out in the cuts. And this chick was fatally shot and stabbed multiple times. Now, she had already voiced her opinion to the Placa saying, hey, I'm fearing for my life. I think these motherfuckers are going to get me. I think they know what's up. The Placa said, yeah, beep, beep, boo, boo, boo. It's all good. Don't trip. Get us more info, right? Of course, she went out and never came back. Now, that was a big case, and that showed the ruthlessness of MS-13 because they made an example out of this chick. And the list can go on and on. That's just a well-known story. But like I said, man, they chopped my own carnal up. They chopped my own brother, my own homeboy Spanky de Aguila. Shout outs and respects. Rest in peace, carnal. They chopped him up and put him in a duffel bag and left him on his mom's porch. They knocked on the door. Sabes que, señora? Mira, right? They were not playing. And I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm saying that that's how the ruthlessness of MS-13 are. Now, MS-13 has been in the news lately. Okay, and they haven't been in the news because the global terrorism and what they're doing and administrating. Okay, they're not tripping off none of that, man. If you think you're going to end a gang by locking them all up, you got the shit fucked up. All you're doing is spreading them worldwide and making them deeper, right? They're going to recruit more people and that's what's going to happen. And that's their business. However they do it, however they choose to live and however they get down, man, it's on them. Okay, you're not stopping them in El Salvador. That's a fact. Okay, and they've tried, man. They arrested anybody with any type of MS-13 fucking tattoos. They arrested anyone that had that look. So if you had a horn, only one, you didn't even get the other one done, but you only had one. So you must be one of them vatos. They weren't even playing, right? Anybody that had tattoos, anyone they thought that was from the gang, they snatched them up and they threw them in these barrio prisons. I call them barrio prisons because they look more like a barrio than a prison. But they throw them in these fucking treacherous prisons, and these vatos, all they did was recruit, get deeper, and of course they keep them segregated from 18 because Calle 18 is in one prison, they're in another. So it's good. If they ever fucking open both doors, oh my, you know, that's World War III, right? We'll call it World War III, and it's on. But at the end of the day, the reason why they're hitting headlines right now, and a lot of people don't know, is in federal prison, what you got going on right now is you got a big beef going on behind MS-13 and the vatos, the sureños, the vatos from down south, the big homies, okay? And I don't want to speak on their business too much because it's not my room to speak on, but I will say that there's actually a war and a green light going on with MS-13 right now. So how that pans out, one never knows, does one, right? And where it stems from, again, I can't call it like an alcoholic, but what I will tell you without getting too much into their business, if it's on, then it's on, G. Okay, if it's on, then it's motherfucking on. Menudo. And of course, MS-13 are deep everywhere, but I don't know if they're ready for that smoke inside prison. See, of course, on the calles, in the streets, vatos got machetes, vatos got cuetes, vatos are about their business. They roll thick, they roll deep like roaches, but at the end of the day, when you're in prison, man, you're going to adhere to the groups that run shit. And that's just plain and simple, period. There's nothing you can do about it. Yes, MS-13 is a very well-respected gang. Yes, they're a very well-respected group in general, period. And not respected because people like them, respected out of fear. You know, and that's the way that gang has always wanted it. They want you to fear them, not love them. Hey, to the love it, the underdogs on top. And we gonna shine, homeboy, until the machete stops. You know what I mean? This is what they believe in. Fear. Okay, and a lot of people fear them. There was a lot of people in society that didn't even know about MS-13 and still don't. So it's good. They're watching this video, though. They're learning now. And what happened is when our ex-president, you know, our previous president, brought their name up, brought them to the forefront, brought the attention on them, then people started saying, hey, now get them all, man, get them all. Right now, fuck all that. Okay? Get them where you get them. Catch them if you can. You know, they've been doing this. They ain't new to this. They're true to this, man. MS-13 has been around. Like I said, they started from a fucking punk rock group that really was out there just scraping and barely getting by to now they're an international global group that actually brings in, from what I heard, is anywhere from 30 and upwards million a year. Okay, they're really out there getting it. They're really out there getting their paper. They're not just a local street gang anymore. So that's ding, 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 ding. Someone had smarts, man, and they took it to fucking a whole nother level. They leveled up on your ass. But MS-13, like I said, they're not to be slept on. They're a gang that's out there. They're a group that's out there. And they're a group that you don't want no funk with. There's story after story after story of them getting involved in some very vicious shit. Okay? I can't sit here all, because I could be here all day. Like, what the, bang, bang. Telling all kinds of stories about them. But at the end of the day, like I said, I'm just here to put out the basics. When they started, how they established, and where they're going from here. Where they're going from here, one never knows, does one. You never know, man, but I will say that, man, I don't think MS-13 is going anywhere anytime soon. I believe, man, that at the end of the day, we're going to figure out how it all gets down. Now, of course, like I said, man, in the 90s, they actually took into respecting the big homies down south. Now there's some internal beef or some type of beef going on in federal prison. I don't know if it's hit the state yet, so I can't call it like an alcoholic. And I know I did time on the Yarda with a couple vatos from MS. And when I was in CYA, there was a couple vatos from MS. They were kind of quiet, minding their own business. did their own thing. You know, I wasn't going to sit there and chop it up with them because I know them vatos like to chop it up. Bang, bang, if you know what I mean. Anyways, with that being said, man, MS-13, man, respects from the Gunners Collective, man, and I don't want no fun. I'm going to stay over here. You want to stay with your machetes over there. Bang, bang. I hope that you move fast with a purpose, man. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, man, it's all about struggling and striving for your people, man. Adhering to what's going on around you, but doing it in a righteous fashion. Be aware, gente. Be aware. There's a lot of people out there that are lurking in the bushes, man. But sabes que, get a weed eater and chop that bush down. You know what it is, man. If you like this, hit that like and subscribe. If you don't, you can hit that thumbs down because heavy is the head that wears the crown. You already know Gunners Collective. I'm going to bring you the best content that I possibly can, and we're going to continue the struggle forever forward. Menudo. Bang, bang.